Hi everyone. In this video we will learn how we can text mine from a social media account, in particular Twitter. So for this assignment, actually you will be doing an assignment and you will need to install a software called Rapid Miner. So you can just go to Google and search for Rapid Miner, and actually it is this website here, Rapid Miner, or this one. Downloads rapidminer.com, and then you can search for the machine of your what is your machine type. So to do that, you can just go to my computer and then properties, and right click, and it will show you what your system type, whether it is 32-bit operating system or 64. So mine is 32-bit. So in this case, what I did, I will click on this guy, and then it will start installing it for me. For me, I already installed it, so I don't need to reinstall it. So you get the idea. And then after you do that, it will ask you to sign in or register. When you register, there is an option actually for you to register for educational. Since you are a student, you will get an educational version of this software where you will create an account. So then you can use this software for a while, and it is really nice software to use, and you can add that also to your resume as one of the software that you have used. So then after you install Rapid Miner, let me close this guy. Save changes now. So when you already installed it and you register, you will be able to see an icon here in the desktop, and we'll wait for it to upload and to start. Also for the assignment, I have provided you with step-by-step instructions how to go through those steps, but I'm going to go through them in this video, where you can go back and forth. If you missed one step, you can go back and forth with the recording, which will make it much easier for you. So I will start by a new process, and I will say blank, start a blank process. So this is how it looks like. So we will be dealing with a lot of operators. So if I want to search for an operator, I will just type it here and then drag it to here. So it is very easy system to use, where you can just drag and drop. So in this assignment, what we want to do, we want to search for a popular topic from Twitter, and then we will be searching for that. First, we need to know what are the popular topics that are going around today. You can select any topic that you are interested in for this assignment. It can be health related, will be great. If not, just anything that is of interest and something decent. So nothing that is offensive to anyone. Just we'll try to be respectful in this example. So to find out what are the hot topics or the popular topics that are going on in social media in general, there is a software, or you can actually try to go to this website. It's called Trends. So trendsmap.com. So if you click on this guy, it will show you what is being discussed at this moment throughout the states. So as you can see here, we can see in every state what is going on today. Since yesterday was the daylight, I will take this example here. So there's wiretapping, microwave, Conway. So there are a lot of politics going on, a lot of topics going on. So daylight, it seems to be somewhere here in the middle. Maybe that's in Kansas City. That's what many people are talking about. Alright, so I will use this daylight as an example for here today, and for you, you can either use this one. Just select for your assignment some topic that is popular. that way you can get better, more than the required number of hits. So I believe it is you're required to get at least 1000 hits or records. So for me in this example, I'll go with an example of 100, kind of to speed up the process. So to do this, I already selected, I decided that the keyword that I'm gonna look for from Twitter is the daylight, all the tweets that had daylight in them. So to do this, I will need to extract this or parse this data. I want to parse this data from Twitter. To do that, I will need first to say Twitter search. So I'll put Twitter, and then I need to do search Twitter. So I put here Twitter in the search for operators. So I will drag the search Twitter operator and drop it here. So now when I select this guy, the search Twitter operator, I need to click here where it says connection. For me, I already have a connection, but for you, you will not have this yet. So you will need to add a connection, and then you can just name it whatever you want. You can just say, let's say daylight, and then the Twitter, you just select Twitter and then say create. Then it's gonna ask you to put the access token. So to get to the access token, you will need to click on this guy, and here it says open URL. So then you will click on request access token. When you click on it, then it's gonna ask you to go to your Twitter account. So in this case, in this example, or for this assignment, you will need to create a Twitter account if you don't already have one. So make sure to create an account. When you get into this page, create an account, and then you will be provided with that token. When you get that token, then you can just put it here, or copy code and put it here, and so on, and then you can click complete. But for me, since I already have a connection, I will delete this guy and I'll just go here. So the token is already here for me. Let me test the connection if it is working or not. So it is working. Now I'll save all changes. So that's the first step, to search. And then so that's I already have a connection, and then when it says connection here, I will need to select it because I called it test. Now it is asking me what is the query that I want to parse from Twitter. So as we decided earlier, we said it is going to be daylight for me as an example. So I want the recent or most popular. I want to limit it for 100. For you, it's going to be 1000. But for me, for this example, it's going to be limited to 100. And then the language, I'm going to limit it to English only to make it easier for us. So for you too, you will need to limit it, the language, to English only. Now I will need to create, after I do this, I will need to create an Excel write. So I need to save the content that will come out from this search into an Excel file. That way I can save it in my desktop or in my computer. So as you follow here the instructions, it goes, and then it asks you to save it. So I'm gonna save it here. I will I'll create an operator here to write Excel for me. So I'll just say write. So write Excel. I'll drag it and put it here, and then I will connect Twitter to write Excel, and then I can drag this guy and drop it here. So when I run this guy, yes, so this is very good warning, because when I write Excel, I need to specify where I am going to write Excel to what folder. So where or file. So in this case, I'm going to click on this folder here, icon, and then I will scroll. I will go to desktop, and I already have a file here. So I will call this one here daylight. daylight file, so I'll just save it, and then now it should be ready. I don't have any other fields to fill, so now I am ready to run. So now I'll just click on this run, and it is going to parse this data for me. So now you can see that it sent me, or it downloaded for me, it parsed for me all those tweets from those users, and it showed the English as a language and the source, and here is the text, basically what was tweeted. So this is what we are really interested in, this text. So then in some situations it gives you the geolocation, latitudinal versus longitudinal coordinates, but here it didn't give us, which is fine. And then it also shows here shows how many retweets for each of those tweets. So for us, what we are really interested in is in this column here, which we call it text. Now if I go to the folder, which is, I called it Rapid Miner, now the daylight is actually, or that file, this content that we just saw here, it is already saved for me in Excel. That's why we call it write Excel. So it wrote, or it saved that content for me in Excel. So this is just kind of to show you what we have already here. So it is the same content. So now what I will do, I will close this guy for now. Alright, so let's see, it's a little bit slow. And then I will go to Rapid Miner. I'll go back to design, so results versus design. So what I will do, I will close this guy because I don't want to run it all the time. So what I can do, I can just drag and select both of them, and then I can just right click. Oops, I need to select both of them first, and then I can right click while they are both highlighted and disable operators. So now I will create an operator where I want to read. Instead of running this all the time, I might get different results and it will take processes from my computer. So what I will do, I will just be reading this file from the folder where I saved it. So read Excel. So I'll just say read, drag it and drop it here. Now it's asking me, I will need to select from where to read it. So it should be from this file, and it's called daylight file. So I'm good with that one, and now I will need to drag and drop an operator where we call it sentiment analysis. So for this one, there is a third-party package, it's called Alien, that we will need from here. So if I type Alien, then it has analyze sentiment. So I'll drag this guy and drop it here. Now while I am selecting this guy, I will need to connect it. So I'll click on Alien. For you, you don't have Alien package yet, so what you will need to do, you will need to create a connection, and then just name it whatever you want, and then select this Alien text analysis, and then it is going to ask you to put, as you can see here, the application ID and application key. To get that, you will need to copy and paste this link here. So you will just copy it and go here and go to a new page and paste it. In here you will need to create an account with Alien. So you will create an account, username and so on, and then you will be provided, then you can say create, and then after you create, you will be provided with an application ID and application key. You can just put them here and save all changes and go from there. So for me, since I already have it here, so I'm gonna save all changes and I will select alien from here. Now, input attribute, basically what do I want to analyze, which column from the Excel sheet or the Excel file that I have. I want to analyze the text column. So that's basically what I'm interested in. So in this case, I will just type here text, and then tweet, sentiment mode, and I'll drag, select this guy, and if I want, I can either, if I run it right now, it will save to the Excel sheet, so it will not show me the results here. But if I drag and drop this guy to here, it will show me, it will save the results for the sentiment analysis into Excel, and it will show me the results here. So now let's run it, and this is going to take a little bit of time, so I'm going to pause and then come back later. So one step that we needed also here, so we read from Excel and then we analyze sentiment. We want to save that into an Excel, so we will need to have another write Excel here. So that's why I'll just write Excel and drag it and drop it here, and then I will save, go to the folder. It is under desktop, and it is, I saved it here, so I can call this one sentiment daylight, and open, and then I'll drag this guy, drop it here, and then select this guy, drop it here, and then I will run it again. I'm gonna pause and come back. Alright, so this is what I got after I ran the analysis. So these are the results here. So as you can see here, we have polarity, which means whether it is negative, positive, or neutral. Basically the tweet, whether it is neutral, negative, or positive. And then we have another parameter or another variable called here subjectivity versus objectivity. So subjective means it is a personal opinion, or it is a personal thing. Whether it is objective means it is just objective. It is not a personal opinion. So and then we also have the text here still. So those are kind of some of the values that we will need. So now I already have this saved. So since I wrote this in Excel in RapidMiner, this particular operator wrote it or saved this file for me here. Now I'm gonna close this guy. You can save it if you want, or for me I will close it just kind of to reduce the processes of my computer. My RAM is a little bit small, so I'm gonna close this guy. Yeah, I can save it and just call it here daylight sentiment analysis, and then say okay. Okay, so now I'm going to open this file, and then we can do more analysis with it in pivot table to see how many negatives, how many positives, how many neutral, and then we can actually create our own decision or predictive model or classification model. So we'll wait for Excel to load correctly. This is still loading. Alright, so now it is done. What I'm really interested in now is to do some text mining with this. because Excel Miner does a great job in doing a couple of things, and such as stemming, tokenization, normalization, and so on. So what we are interested in here, I'm interested in the text column, and then I'll just go next, and here this stop word removal and so on. I believe we can add our own if we want, and so on, but they have all the stop words here, so that's good. So we will keep here, we will keep this as default, so it is fine. And then we are gonna select the TF IDF. This is what we did in the previous lecture. And then maximum number of concepts. You can just select the number of concepts you are interested in, maybe 20, or just keep the minimum percentage explained as 90. So let's continue, go on. So here what I want to do, the vocabulary, I want to see, so I'll keep everything as defaulted, and I will select here 20. I want to see like the top 20 most frequent terms. This will be in one of the sheets in the output of Excel Miner. So then I will just go and finish and see what it will tell me, what it will show me. So this is the first one. It shows us, because we have 100, approximately 100, and let's see, and this shows us, this is the vocabulary. So I'm interested in looking at the vocabulary. So of course, because we looked for daylight, so vocabulary has been repeated, or it has been used 97 times out of 100 in those tweets, and then save and time and so on. So those are the number of times each one of those words was mentioned in those tweets, in all of those 100 tweets. So now we are interested in this guy. Let's see how many concepts here were identified. So every column is a concept or a keyword, you can say. So I will put an A here, that way all columns have headers. So computer is slow today. So then I will need to add here another column, so that way we can create a predictive model. So we want to see what if those concepts or those terms in each of those tweets. So each column, each record is basically a tweet, and every column is basically a term. So this one, text document 1, is basically a tweet. So I'm going to go to the main, to this guy. Let's say that I'm interested in predicting subjectivity. So what I will do, I'll select this column, because I have 100 tweets here, or actually 97. It just parsed 97 tweets. So I'm going to drag them and drop them here. I'll just copy and paste. So I'll just make sure that they are the same numbers. Yes. So now I have this column here, the last column, which will be my target variable, and I will try to create a predictive model where we can see if the existence of those concepts, or that can predict whether the type of tweet is objective versus subjective. So to do that, we will use the classification algorithms that we have been using so far. Let's start with logistic regression. So our target variable here is subjectivity. So I'll drag it to the output variable, and then I'll select all the concepts from concept 1 all the way until concept 20, and I will drag them and put them in selected variables. So I'm interested in The success is subjective and the failure, so basically subjective will be 1, objective will be 0. And then also let's set confidence level for odds 95, and then I can use partition data. Go next and finish. So now let's see how this model, or the logistic regression algorithm is performing, and how our model is doing in terms of, in comparison. So the training percentage error is 41%, and the validation is doing much better than the training, which is strange. Yeah, which is strange, but at least the validation is doing much better. So we can say that this model has 28% errors. So now let's see if we can compare this to other algorithms. So logistic we already used. Let's use classification, single tree, and then I'll keep going, and then partition. Next, I'm interested in seeing the full tree, and then I'll go next. So let's look at the full tree. Ooh, looks different. Let's see what else we can see here. The validation score summary. Ooh, nice. So this one, for the training, the error rate is 3.4, but for the validation is 35 in comparison to 28 earlier. So this model is not doing as well as the previous one, but let's continue and see what other model will do. So let's see here. Oops, where is it? This is our data. So now let's look at another algorithm, neural networks, and see how it will do. And normalize, and then partition. Next. And remember, we are using only, we limited this one to only 100 records. So for you, in your case, you might need, as I said in the assignment, you will need to collect 1,000 at least. So let's look at this guy, validation score. So this is good for the training, but we're interested in the validation. So the validation is 35, so it is comparable to the previous one, which was, what was it, logistic regression, I would say. So 35, let's see here what other ones we did. So this one, for decision tree, the validation is 35. So it seems to be the logistic regression was doing the best out of all of them. So it is 28 error. So it is performing. So when we are comparing, it doesn't matter whether it is the error rate is 28 versus 35. We are comparing those algorithms. Which one of those algorithms that we have used, whether it is the decision tree or logistic regression or the neural network, which one of those three models is doing better? So there is no threshold where, you know, we can say, well, it has to be at least 5% percentage of error. No, it's just a comparison between those three, and this is the result. The result is what it is. So we don't mind what is the error rate, but we are comparing those three algorithms, and we want to see which one is performing better than the others in terms of validation, data scoring, which one will have less errors, and that will be our favorite basically model for that particular algorithm. So I hope this helps, and I will see you soon.